This is Gemini Lilith. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I literally woke up in the middle of the night and I was inspired to do a general reading. Now, while I was meditating, this is just a bit of the stuff that came into me. Pause. This is a bit of the stuff that came to me. So the three words that I heard loud and clear without any hesitation is integration, satisfaction, and release. Almost like a chain, right? It came through that it has to be in this order for this process to work, right? It has to, in order for you to get the relief or even release that you need. You guys might feel spiritually bound, or maybe not even just spiritually, mentally, emotionally, whether it's to a job, to a person, whatever it is. There are lessons here along the way that require integration. You've learned the lesson. Now you need to implement the lesson that you learned. And you may be doing that already. All of you are in different timelines, so this is right before this happens, or you're literally in the thick of this, working your way through it, or you have just come out of the other side. So integration is the first step. And I'm hearing that this is going to be a doozy. It's going to be challenging. And I just picture somebody stumbling but never falling. There are lessons here that you've learned, and it feels like there's still a part of you that you have to address and do away with, but you're either not quite ready, one, or two, if you are ready, this other side of you that you've known your entire life that you're trying to heal or completely get rid of is putting up a really good fight. I'll give you a good example. Integration being acknowledging that you have an addiction, understanding where your addiction comes from, what emotional gaps your addiction is trying to close and heal for yourself, but then not feeling that you have the strength to actually put those lessons into practice because you've only known that one way of being. We fall back to our habits and our comforts, right? So this is a confirmation for you that if you've been struggling, if maybe there's a duality in your life right now where you know where you want to be and you know what you need to get there, but maybe it's a little difficult to actually either take that step forward, or you're trying to take that step forward and you feel unbalanced, like you're going to lose your balance and fall. You're not going to fall. Don't even worry about that, and don't beat yourself up. If you feel like you're not making the progress that you need to be making right now as quickly as you need to make it, just to put it into perspective, that's your ego and social programming telling you where you need to be in your timeline, right? Our society has this linear timeline. You know, birth, you technically get to be free as a child, as a toddler, before you go to school. You start going to school. Once you're done with school, you go to college, which is just school 2.0, school on steroids. And then after college, you get a job. Or let's say, because not everybody comes from that kind of pipeline or Western programming, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, this is the role you fill in society, and this is the path you take to get to your designated purpose, what you're meant to do, how you're meant to be. You're not meant to follow that program. And going against the grain. Let me not say going against the grain, because I actually don't think you're actively in your mind being rebellious or going against the grain, but there is a part of yourself that doesn't resonate with your programming anymore. There's something about the lessons that you need to integrate, to deprogram, and that leads to satisfaction. Now, the image I'm getting is somebody trudging through mud. It's like worse than like trying to run on the beach. Like trying to run not at the shore where like the wet sand kind of makes like, you know, a foundation for you to actually plant your feet. I mean like the loose sand type of deal. Once you integrate these lessons, once you merge your shadow and your light side, yes, you're going to be unstoppable. But I get this energy of relishing. You're going to feel so good. And let me tell you why it's going to feel so good, because the turnaround isn't going to be quick. Delayed gratification. Okay. For the past couple of days, I've been just like the idea of delayed gratification and how it's basically showed up in my life has been on my mind, I want to say, for the past, since Tuesday. Today is Friday. So for 3 days. And now I'm understanding where this satisfaction comes from. Your satisfaction is going to come from delayed gratification, because this integration for your transformation is going to take some time, because you are deprogramming. And not deprogramming in a way where we intellectualize this. No, this is something that's happening on like a soul cellular level. Like you're genuinely, instead of like just thinking about it and faking it till you make it, like presenting externally as this version of yourself until you actually become it. No, you are authentically building up to who you want to be, instead of drawing who you want to be from your external environment. And that's where the satisfaction comes through, because what will end up happening is that you are authentically, genuinely, purely yourself. And that's where the relief comes from. The relief that you've lived your life with integrity. There we go. Look how these things are connecting now. Right. You've lived your life with integrity, and that's where the relief comes from, because there's nothing attached to you. You're going to be peaceful. You're going to be at peace. Because there aren't going to be any skeletons in your closet. And when I say skeletons from your closet, I don't mean you hiding things from other people. I mean you hiding things from yourself, lying to yourself, or refusing to see the subconscious part of yourself, or the part of your inner child that has been begging to be acknowledged or seen. Once you go through this integration, and you're able to reflect and get the satisfaction of what that process was like and where it brought you to, you're going to get this relief. Now I'm hearing, so, you know what, there's no need to explain that, no worries. What I heard was 10-year process. Everyone's different. Excuse me. Everyone's different. So this is a 10-year process. Whether that 10-year cycle is ending now, you're in the thick of this 10-year cycle, right? Maybe you're 7 years in, maybe you're 8 years in, maybe you're 2 years in, right? Or you're literally just beginning this. Now, box it in. Oh, 10-year process. That's why I heard that. Don't cheat. You can't cheat this. It says don't cheat, but really, you can't cheat it. You know what here's the energy I'm getting. You asked for something. You asked for something. You asked for a certain lifestyle. You asked for a certain person to come in your life. You envisioned your life a certain way and asked for that. There's something that you asked your spiritual team, the divine, who you look to spiritually. You asked them for something. And this is them granting it to you. But the way they're granting it to you is not instant gratification. Here's where the delayed gratification comes in. Oh my goodness, it's all tying in together. This is where instant gratification is not going to help you, because without this process, without going through this 10-year process, the foundation, stability, trust, and confidence you have for yourself will hang in the balance of your external world. Now hold on, let me make sure I connect the dots here. You asked for a certain lifestyle, you asked for something. When you asked for this thing, you were nowhere near being the type of person who could acquire what it is that you wanted. You're a light worker. Here's the thing. Purity is important. I don't mean perfection, right? Because every single one of us are born into sin. None of us are perfect. We've all hurt people intentionally, unintentionally. We've all been hurt. Yada, yada, yada. But purity here is very important because you're a light worker. And because you're a light worker, you literally have to walk through the dark. You have to walk through the dark. And it's a long passage. But when you come through the other side, nobody can shake, dismantle, disrupt, destroy this version of you that was required for what you asked for, because you did the work. You got your hands dirty. It says don't cheat, but honestly, you can't cheat. Because if you try to cheat this process, I'm getting two energies right now. I'm getting two types of spiritual guides. Now, it's the same way where people have different parenting styles. These two spirit guides have different ways of reacting to your stubbornness. First one. If you try to treat this process the first type of spirit guide is just going to knock you back on your ass and get you back on your path where you need to be. And then there's a second kind of spiritual guide where if you try to cheat this process, they'll allow you to think and feel like you've cheated the process. And it'll be this false sense of satisfaction and release because you skipped the integration part. It's going to be this false sense of satisfaction and relief, because once you get to this relief, you're going to end up realizing that the foundation you built was faulty, unsustainable, and not worth the trouble or the struggle. But you only realize that towards the end. So those are the two types of spiritual guides that I'm picking up on right now. So either way, you are, I feel like this needs to be like circled or like starred or something. You cannot get what you want without this first step. You're not getting here without getting here. You're not. You're just not. This might sound crazy, right? I don't give a fuck really though. If you skip this step, and you've been allowed to feel like this satisfaction and relief, is what is genuine for your experience, you're gonna create a karmic path for yourself. Meaning you're gonna have to come back and do this again. You're gonna carry it over to the next life. Because what's gonna end up happening, whether it's conscious or subconscious, if you skip this step because it's too difficult or you really just cannot face yourself, you're just cheating yourself, because you're going to have to come back and do it all over again anyway. And you're going to have to do it until you learn. So don't cheat because you can't cheat. You're not cursed. You're not cursed. You're being purified. You are not cursed. You are being purified. And I think it's a little difficult to tell the difference, because I do think there is a thin line between I guess quote unquote curses. I guess, yeah, layman's terms, curses. It's hard to tell sometimes between curses and karmic lessons. This is just a huge karmic lesson for you. There's a karmic lesson. Wow. There's a karmic lesson that you're walking through, not around. And that's where the integration comes from, walking through it, not around it. Feeling all the feelings, crying all the tears, all that stuff. You're walking through it, not around it. Good job. You need to know you're doing a good job. You're right where you need to be. If your life is falling apart, I'm sorry to hear that. Because I know it's really difficult, because a lot of us end up going through things on our own. Even when we have people around us, right? We end up going through things on our own. So I do just need to reassure you that you are where you need to be. You're doing a good job. You're past the peak of this. You're past the worst point. Right now, you're on a downward slope to plateau, kind of, and not in a negative sense. When I say down, and I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, you're coming from this high point of maybe instability, or, all of us have different things going on in our lives, right? You're coming from this high emotional point, from high emotional arousal, and you're working your way down. Now you're not quite floating like a feather all the way down, but you are coming down. The worst is over. Don't even worry about it, boo. I know that's easier said than done, but don't even worry about it. All right. We are 23 minutes in, and I have not pulled a single card. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. So I'm going to pick an oracle card for you guys, actually. I haven't used my oracle deck. This is literally one of my favorite decks ever. Such a beautiful deck of cards. I haven't used this in quite some time, so we're going to use it today. You're going to win. You're about to be on top for something. I don't know if you're in competition, maybe you're in a competitive field, maybe somebody was trying to compete with you, maybe you felt you needed to compete with somebody. I'm getting something about competition here, and you coming out on top. and not in an egotistical way, because you're going through what you call this, an ego death, if you haven't come out of it already. You're going through an ego death. 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. Think back to what life was like back in 2015 for you. What was going on in your love life, career, family? 2015, did something super significant, challenging, anything like that happen? A significant relationship that ended or began? There's something you need to look back here. You need to look back 10 years. Because 2015 is the marker. That's all I'm hearing. 2015 and 2016 are the markers that you need right now. Between 2015 and 2016, something very significant happened in your life. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. That's for some of you, not all of you, because some of you haven't reached the 10-year mark, but I am getting that very specifically. 2015 and 2016. Unshakable. Why am I hearing unshakable? Unshakable. It's probably just an adjective for you. Unshakable. I do feel like you are going to get to a point, though, where things that used to affect you in the past do not affect your nervous system as much as they used to. I feel like I'm hearing myself in a different reading. I'm going to read from the book. So your oracle card here is honor, lineage, Asian elephant. Okay. Let's see. Elephant stands in the river of... Let's start over. Elephant stands in the river of time, honoring the past and nurturing the future, always feeling the lines of lineage radiating both forward and backward. You see, haven't I been talking about the past leading into the future? So literally looking at your past self, healing your past self, and getting rid of the parts of your past self that you didn't like, to integrate into who you are now, to get to who you want to be in the future. That's literally what I've been talking about. So that's the confirmation I needed, I guess. She remembers her ancestors, the mastodons and mammoths, the long extinct cousins in this ancient family, and knows she is a link in the chain of life. Her daughters will someday be matriarchs, and then mere bone, fossils that will someday point to a species that no longer exists. You too are a link, a bridge between what came before and what is yet to come. As you move through your life, honor not only what is past, but what is yet to be. I'm just going to end it here. That's all the confirmation that we need. Integration. You're integrating your light and your shadow. Right? Your past, your present, and your future. Your present is integrating your past and your future. So we're looking forward and backward right now at the same time. And it's a time that requires you to give yourself grace. You're not going to be perfect. You're not always going to make the right decision. And you're not going to be happy with yourself the entire time while you're going through this process, because this process is messy and heavy. But it's so worth it. Anyway, I hope those messages helped, and I wish you the best of luck. If nobody's told you, I am so proud of you. What I need you to do is take a notebook, write down all of your accomplishments for these past 10 years. And I don't mean accomplishments only on in an external sense. I don't mean, oh, I got this degree or this certificate or I got this medal only. Also, acknowledge the parts of you that have changed already so far. Acknowledge things and situations that you've been thrust into where you didn't react the way that you would have in the past, that actually made you feel proud. There's a part of you that needs to empower yourself and acknowledge these things on your own, without that external validation or hearing it from other people as well, because we need both of those things. We can't develop our sense of selves solely based on who people tell us we are. But at the same time, if we're just looking at ourselves internally without looking at the external world at all, I think that can also warp our perception of who we are realistically as well. So I hope those messages made sense. I'm so proud of you. I am so happy for you. I understand that even when you're watching this video, it may not be a good time in your life, but let me tell you, I'm happy for you because of the outcome that this process is going to have for you. It's so beautiful. You won't even see it coming. You won't. And I have a feeling there's going to be a day, because you're going to watch this reading, you're going to forget about this reading, and there's going to be a day in the next year, 2 years, couple months, however long in the future, that you're reminded of this reading, because there's going to be a moment for you where you kind of look up and you're like, oh my goodness, look at how far I've come. Look at how much I've done. And actually be proud of yourself. That is so beautiful. All right. Thank you so much, Collective, for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys. I wish you all the love, joy, peace that you can find in your life right now. Don't forget to protect yourselves and know that you are loved. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.